Okay, folks, we're back with another landscape history and integrity. I was listening to some various things today, and I came across a discussion with Karen Kingston and Greg Hunter. I've been listening to these conversations, interviews for a couple of years now. She's a very amazingly bright person. She is an expert in reading legal and medical and scientific stuff that you and we just sort of our eyes glaze over. Uh, you know, you remember how you might have been in science class or whatnot when you were in school, and how that's just things sometimes go over your head. First, it is over your head. You need to learn a little bit before you can really start grabbing it. But she does a great job of that. She doesn't simply read between the lines, and there is plenty of between the lines stuff that's going on in the world, where we're not getting things told straight to our face, and we get things that are suggested in various ways, and then we don't respond to them, and the people who are making their plans, they just go ahead and go forward with their plans because nobody says, "Wait, that's a crazy idea," because we don't necessarily know, even realize it's happening, or we don't take it seriously. Well, she has been working, in the pharmaceutical area for a long time, and she really knows her stuff. She knows about the various legislations. She knows about. She reads these reports. And the detail of them. She understands the language that she's reading. And what's really amazing is I remember in one instance, Greg makes a comment about, "Wow, you really predicted that well." And she says, "I didn't predict anything. I'm not predicting anything. There's no Holy Spirit thing going on here. I'm just reading you what's in the report. They're telling us." So, a lot of things go over our head. A lot of things are mumbo jumbo. I'm quite frustrated often with, I'll be watching something, let's say on astronomy or astrophysics or something like that. They're telling me about planets and solar systems across the universe, etc. It all sounds really great. It just sounds great. And it's logical sounding to me because I'm an idiot. But and what do you know? What do you and I know anything about a black hole? And it doesn't matter how much they tell us about a black hole; they still don't know anything. We don't even know anything about our own bodies. Hardly. They keep finding. It's weird. So just this universe is extremely complicated. So thinking you're going to understand the universe a zillion light years away is sort of nonsensical. But we pretend we can, and we act as if we pretend we understand, and then we act as if we know what we're talking about. I made this little diagram here to make a point. As you can see, this is just 5 ways to get to 10. So when somebody comes up to me and gives me a formula for how, or explanation about how something works, they may well be true. These are all true. It's just that they don't mean anything except that they individually are true. There may be other things that are much more in-depth truths than this, but it's true. And so people will come and this is what I mean about listen to an astrophysicist. He can tell me anything, or she, sometimes it's a she, can tell me anything they want to, and it'll sound good. I listen to what's the guy's name? Some people think he's just brilliant, and he tells you about how the Earth is actually spinning in a what do you call it? Anyway, sort of like this as it's going through the universe. Tell me this: how does the sky have the same symbols? So, our astrological symbols up there, the stars, solar star layouts, whatever you call them. There's a word for it. How are those the same? Not only yesterday, not only last year, 2,000 years, 5,000 years ago. They're basically the same thing. Are we swirling through the universe like, no, we're not. But that all sounded good. I thought, man, that sounds good. I shared it with other people. Isn't that interesting? But then I just thought a little bit further. I thought, oh, that's crap. Excuse me. It's crap. So anyway, I was watching this interview, and it just I'm going to put it below for you to take a look at, because we need to know these things. We need to know what the powers that be are planning, and that's what she knows a good bit about, because she's sitting there reading, and they're telling you what they're planning, and she does a great job of, again, not reading between the lines, but simply comprehending the jargon that is used in medical reports, pharmaceutical company reports, legislation, etc. And so I invite you to watch this video below. But anyway, one of the things she talks about is that they're trying to do this livestock vaccination. They're paying farmers all kind of money. If the farmer, and what a way to do it. This is what you call blackmailing people, basically, right? Except it's screwed. They're not doing it behind their back or threatening them. They're just saying, I'm going to give you, $50,000 to let the government come and test your cows to see if it's got a particular disease, which currently only exists in a lab or something. Okay, but diseases happen all the time. But anyway, they want to catch this disease before it crosses over into humans, which, as Kingston makes a point of making, you will hear her talk about this herself. This disease will not cross over to human, because the only way they can do that is if they make the disease in a lab and manipulate it so that it can. And she'll say a few more things about that on the scientific level of things. So this is why, we'd be dying all the time if everybody was always catching diseases from animals. And certain things, the Black Plague, supposedly we got the fleas gave it to us from rats, all right? Somehow that crossed over. Remember, the bird flu was going to wipe us out just a few years ago. And every few years there's something that's going to wipe us out, and it doesn't, because our bodies, God made us so that, these kind of things don't work. The evolution of things, that people like to pretend evolution is everything. And evolution is about mutation. It's not about creating something new, okay? So, anyway, there's a threat to our food supply. They're going to have to, they're creating a problem that they're going to have to solve. This is the long and short of it. And if you listen to the video yourself, you can learn about that. But I invite you to, whenever you can find anything that she's talking about, she really does a great job of pulling the covers back on issues, things that you and I just may not, we may wonder about, but we hear it on the news. The news tells us what they want to tell us. They don't really give us in-depth anything. They don't talk about anything for, a half hour or an hour. And if they do, what do? They have a pro and a con on, and they let then they yell at each other, or the pro will yell at the con and tell them they're an idiot. Okay, that's the way it normally goes. So anyway, I invite you to take a look at it. Otherwise, please feel free to make comments about your experience with scientific jargon, mumbo jumbo, false formulas, or false claims based on, formulas that aren't really, like comparing apples to oranges or whatever, right? You've had experience. Share it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what other people think about it. Like, subscribe. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.